What's up, Internet? My name is Gray, like the color, and I own Retro Exchange here in sunny Peoria, Arizona, known on Whatnot, eBay, and beyond as Rex for short. And today on Rex Knows What's Awesome, sports cards. Yeah, I know. I like to keep mostly like toys, gaming, and stuff like that on this channel, but let me tell you, I recently went through an education here that I just had to share. From a collectible market standpoint, sports cards are unlike anything I have delved into in my 30 years being a toy collectible dealer. So, sports, right? It's always been there, okay? I'm a kid of the 80s. I love all the nerdy things. I loved Star Wars, I loved He-Man, I loved Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff, right? And when I was coming up as a kid, that really wasn't that cool. Like, if you watch older movies like Revenge of the Nerds, nerds, right? And all that stuff, like a lot of the early high school kind of movies, the nerds got picked on and stuff. And you know what? That pretty much was true, right? I luckily was insulated from it because I was also a starting baseball player and a Dungeons and Dragons player and a Star Wars kid. So I didn't get it that bad, but a lot of people around me did. I saw it firsthand, but really when you come down to it, if I love Spider-Man and I'm wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt, is that any different than a guy who loves Tom Brady and is wearing a Tom Brady jersey, right? If I'm ripping through Marvel Universe trading card packs hoping that I find a Deadpool, is that any different than somebody ripping through sports card packs trying to find Shohei Ohtani? No, it's not. It's all love. It's all passion for something that you're into. And so I find it all is cut from the same cloth, right? However, as a market, sports cards be crazy, okay? So how did I even get into this? Sports cards have always been there alongside my toy and game collecting journey. From those old mall collectible shows back in the 90s where the treasure hunt Hot Wheel people and the Beanie Baby scalpers were there were always tables of sports cards dudes with packs and singles and sets, etc. It's always been kind of, somewhat weaved in to what we do. I always liked watching them on TV. I'm pretty sure I've seen every Super Bowl from 1980 to last year on a couch with my dad, with the exception of a couple. He was fighting the good fight in Operation Desert Storm. I didn't see that one with him while he was gone. But for the most part, even as an adult, we get together. That's our big yearly, hang out and watch the Super Bowl. And a couple of years ago, I realized my son, who is now 12 going on 13, once he was about 9, 10 and could really wrap his head around what was going on, he started enjoying playing sports, and he watched the Super Bowl with us and actually participated and became a Patrick Mahomes fan overnight. Yeah. And wanted to participate. So a couple years ago, I said, hey man, let's do something I've never done. I want to watch a whole football season. Like every single game. You can't watch every one because I don't have 10 TVs, but let's follow the season. Let's watch from the season opener all the way, develop the story, watch the playoffs. And so we did that, and it was a massive amount of fun. I even got roped into like watching the sports news in the morning. Like I went full on jock, ladies and gentlemen. And it was a lot of fun. He was in it with me. We talked about it. And then we were on a family vacation and we pulled off at a Circle K. Now, when I said a couple years ago, you do realize that's like COVID times, right? Things are kind of wacky. COVID hit cards in a crazy way in the market. Vintage video games too. People were bored. People had free money. And some of this stuff just shot to the moon. And sports cards, or just cards in general, Pokemon, etc., really went wild during those COVID years. And I'm used to walking into any Walmart and Target and just seeing gobs of sports cards, everything on the shelf. But a couple of years ago, during this card craze, there were zero. Those shelves were bare. Whenever the people would come in and stock them, man, like the scalpers and the eBay dudes and the dealers would swipe 100% of it because they were able to resell it for such an incredible profit margin. So we're in the middle of our football love, and he wanted to like maybe look at some packs of cards, and there was just nothing out there anywhere unless you spent like stupid money, right? There were sports card shops, of course, but I wasn't that deep yet, okay? Anyway, we're on a vacation. We whip into a Circle K to get gas and snacks. And lo and behold, at a Circle K of all places, was this little display of these like absolute football blaster boxes. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's sports cards, I could buy them. So I bought a few boxes and we ripped them in the back seat of the car, and it was a blast. And oh boy, did we dive we just dove, right? Next thing you know, we're on Whatnot buying cards. We're at card shows buying cards. And I started educating myself. And boy, let me tell you, as I've already said before, this market is so different in so many ways than toys and video games. And that's what I wanted to share with you, because I think this market is awesome. It's like a stock market, really. And I have a few things I want to talk about. So it's not just football. We've been watching basketball and stuff like that as well. And in this kind of sports renaissance, he and I sort of learning and getting re-engaged. I mean, when I was a kid, obviously, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, right, was everywhere. And I grew up a huge Jordan fan, Space Jam and all that, the shoes. Like, Michael Jordan's the GOAT, always will be. Sorry, LeBron. But, I mean, it's Michael Jordan, okay? But we started watching a little basketball, and I discovered this kid named Ja Morant, okay? And I started watching, like, a backlog, because he was a rookie in 2019. And, you know, my son Dorian and I were getting involved in, I don't know, like 2022 or so was where we were really developing our sports love. So I went back, and the way this guy plays, I just love it. He's got a razzle-dazzle, like old school basketball. And so his cards were extremely expensive, like a PSA 10 rookie like this. Some of them were hundreds of dollars. And people would invest in that. Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to win this. He's going to be that. But unfortunately, he was a little bit of a dummy, partied a little hard, waving guns around on social media. He got in big trouble and got suspended. And the card prices reacted to that. No toy or video game reacts to real world news, but sports cards do. You could buy packs of cards and get like some rookie player that no one's ever heard of, and that player can do something incredible, break records, win championships, and suddenly something that was worthless becomes worth a lot. And that's wild. You can have a card of a player that everybody thinks is going to be huge rage and it's tons of money, and then that player gets a career-ending injury and they only play a couple of years and disappear. Now their cards are worthless. My man Ja here, I was at a card show last weekend. I bought this PSA 10 rookie for 20 bucks. That's crazy. I still love him. He's coming back. He's going to come back big. I got this signed rookie in a trade. The guy only valued this at $300. 2 years ago, before the whole gun thing, you couldn't have touched this card for probably less than $1,000. And that's why I find the sports card market wild. It reacts to real world news, and that's fascinating to me. There's also, I learned something called the junk wax era. There's this really weird moment where, and I've talked about this before, adult collecting spikes in the 90s, and all these companies crank their factories up and they way overproduce. Sports cards got hit by that as well. So stuff from like probably the mid-late 80s to like the mid-90s is really not worth very much, and that's unfortunate. Like some big deal players' rookie cards, Shaquille O'Neal, man, Shaq. How big of a deal was Shaq? Shaq Fu, his weird Kaboom or whatever it's called, the Genie movie, commercials. Like, it's Shaq, man. You can go right now and buy a Shaq rookie card in glorious condition for like $5. That's Shaquille O'Neal. But they were printed to the moon, and they're extremely common, so it is what it is. In player terms, basically everything from like my favorite Joe Montana here to Tom Brady, everything in between there, just not worth a lot. From Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, everything between there, just not worth a lot. So don't go investing or buying that stuff. They're fun to open. They're cool. I'm nostalgic for them because I was buying packs of those as a kid. But it's funny how that whole like decade just really aren't worth anything. But then some of the like 2000s and stuff, once you get into like Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, some of those cards are worth a ton because after that 90s bubble, those print runs receded, and some years have very low print runs and all their cards are worth a lot of money. These guys, the sports card companies, are so much worse at the FOMO chase than anyone else. They put relics where there's a piece of a jersey or a piece of a baseball bat. They number things. There's like 100 different colors of any given prism. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to take in. And when I first started it, there were so many shiny things. I was like, oh man, this is shiny. It has to be something. No, it's not, unless it's pink zebra giraffe camouflage numbered less than 50, right? There's a lot of variables here. It was really fun to learn about. If you're not into sports cards, just take like a 10-minute tour through modern sports card collecting. It blew my mind. It'll probably blow yours. It's very interesting to have a commodity that reacts to real world news. It goes up and down like the stock market based on player and team performance. There are packs of cards, guys, that are like $5,000 for a pack. They come in a briefcase that's locked. That's how big of a deal sports card collecting is. I think a fun way to kind of dabble in this is, what is it, the King of Collectibles on Netflix, right? Golden Auctions. They are famous for doing a lot of sports card stuff. I've watched both seasons of that. There's a lot of neat sports card information there. They're very crazy. They're very cool. They are like our other stuff, because I guess comic books, right? I could have a first appearance of a D-list villain sitting in my box that's worth $1. All of a sudden the MCU shoves him in a movie, and now I got a $300 comic book. I guess that's reactive in some ways, but nowhere near as reactive as this. So that's what I got, guys. Do you like sports cards? Who's your favorite player? What card are you ripping packs hunting for? Let's get a conversation going down in the comments. Sports cards are awesome. Thank you, congratulations, and enjoy.